Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're tackling a challenge that frankly drives a lot of IT professionals, lab enthusiasts, and small business owners totally crazy every single day. We're talking about securing small-scale environments. It's this space that just constantly gets overlooked by those massive enterprise-focused security platforms, leaving a huge gap for folks who need serious security but without all that massive overhead. So today, we're looking at a totally fascinating approach designed exactly for this purpose.
Think about it for a second. How exactly do you secure a 10-node lab or maybe a small home office setup without relying on some bloated, cloud-tethered management system? More often than not, you're stuck manually installing tools on every single machine, juggling a dozen different interfaces, and honestly spending hours just clicking next through installers just to get a basic baseline level of visibility. It's frustrating, it's inefficient, and for a small environment, buying into a heavy enterprise platform feels like massive overkill. You need local control, you need efficiency, and you need it to be straightforward.
Well, what if I told you the cost to solve this specific headache is exactly zero? No joke. The solution we're unpacking today is completely free. It's a downloadable tool that requires absolutely no cloud account to function, and there's no sneaky annual subscription lurking in the fine print. You just download it, and you're instantly ready to start orchestrating your security locally.
Let's jump into Section 1. Meet Kjer Local Free, Security Orchestration for Small Environments.
And that brings us to this incredibly important number 10. Kjer Local Free gives you a localized control plane that handles up to 10 endpoints. Now, a really crucial detail to remember here is that this 10 endpoint limit includes the machine that's actually hosting the application, so it's your host machine plus 9 others. Knowing this exact boundary up front matters so much because it's going to save you massive deployment headaches later down the line. It perfectly sets the expectation for what this tool is built to handle.
See, the crucial point is that this 10 endpoint cap is not some sort of arbitrary penalty or a crippled demo version. It's a highly intentional, purpose-built design. It is ideally positioned for individuals, home offices, security labs, and small-scale testing environments. It's really for the user who wants absolute complete command over their immediate, localized network without all the noise and complexity of fleet-wide, multi-tenant cloud syncs.
Okay, let's dive into this next part, Section 2, the Local Command Center. First off, what do we actually mean by orchestrator? It isn't just a simple scanner, it's a unified interface that gives you a completely localized control plane. Think of it as your command bridge. From this one single pane of glass, you can identify devices across your local subnets and your VLANs and actually execute core security operations. You're the one actively controlling and deploying defenses, not just passively watching network traffic roll by. And this builds into a real tactical advantage. 35. That's the number of compatible security tools that this totally free orchestrator can install and manage locally across your network. So instead of going machine to machine like a crazy person, Kjer Local Free handles the deployment and management of over 35 distinct tools across your environment. It vastly reduces your manual workload. It's a real game changer. Once you've got those tools orchestrated, Kjer executes these highly structured 7-phase security scans. These scans zero in on 3 major targets: comprehensive vulnerability analysis to find your weak points, deep malware detection to root out any active threats, and thorough network analysis. It's basically bringing a highly disciplined, enterprise-level automated scanning methodology right to your desktop.
But what's really surprising is that it doesn't stop at scanning. We're talking active system hardening. It can apply system defense workflows like firewall configuration and IP blocking. It even maps your security posture against major compliance frameworks, stuff like SOC 2, HIPAA, and PCI. You can track all this via a real-time security activity monitor, and crucially export comprehensive reports. Whether you prefer HTML for easy reading, JSON for data parsing, or Markdown for your documentation, Kjer hands you the data in exactly the format you need.
Moving right along to Section 3. Intelligence and host awareness.
And this brilliantly illustrates how smart this platform is. We're looking at deep host integration. The orchestrator doesn't just blindly throw software at your endpoints. It automatically detects critical system metadata. This means it's actively reading the environment of every single node it talks to, guaranteeing that every tool execution is consistent, completely safe, and perfectly matched to that specific host.
Check this out. On the OS side, you have native support for Windows, Linux, and macOS. But it goes way deeper than that. Look at the package managers it automatically detects: apt, DNF, brew, winget, and pacman.
So whether you're running a super sleek macOS dev machine, a rugged Linux server, or just your standard Windows desktop, Kjer literally speaks the native language of that machine's package ecosystem.
Because of this deep integration, Kjer performs what they call intelligent tool resolution. Basically, it automatically selects the exact correct tool version and architecture for your specific host environment. It takes all that annoying manual guesswork like, wait, do I need the ARM64 build or the x86 build here, completely out of your hands. Actually, scratch that. You don't even have to think about it. It just figures it out and deploys correctly.
Let's wrap up with Section 4, Scaling Your Security. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the capability matrix. Notice how strict the operational philosophy of the local free tier is. It is completely self-contained. It relies purely on a local GUI and local reporting, keeping your environment entirely isolated from those multi-tenant cloud syncs or remote operations you see in the paid Solo and Team Plus tiers. It's built specifically for folks who demand absolute local containment and intentionally leaves out any features that would tether the orchestrator to a cloud backend.
This draws a hard, intentional line in the sand. Kjer Local Free is strictly for users prioritizing local, offline control. The moment your environment scales beyond 10 endpoints or you suddenly need remote control, it crosses out of this localized philosophy and you have to migrate. By enforcing this boundary, the free tier makes sure it remains a lightweight, hyper-focused local orchestrator, rather than turning into a bloated cloud agent. It does one thing, local orchestration for small environments, and does it with total, unwavering focus. And honestly, as long as you operate within that very specific boundary, you have a tremendously powerful, completely free, locally managed control plane right at your fingertips. It discovers, it orchestrates, it hardens, and it reports, all while keeping your data safely right there in your lab. So, the only question left to ask yourself is, are you ready to finally stop managing your lab manually? Download this tool and orchestrate your local environment. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy learning.